If the intro works today. Honestly, this whole thing can go to pot. As long as the intro works, we're like, all right, we'll just wrap it up. Just wrap it up for the day.
We're confident last.
Instead of just my ugly mug. And
I got off work.
yeah, you're not hurting.
I didn't work 2 jobs today.
Just I let her off with one today. But last week it was just me talking about what I came from.
I don't even think I watched it.
You didn't even watch mine?
I don't think so.
You're not interested in me.
I'll go watch it though so we can up those views.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't watched it, it's posted. Go check it out. I just talk about my apprenticeship and...
That's what, the third one?
Yeah, starting my tattoo career, pretty much, I guess, from day one and on. But I figured this week, since I did so much talking last week, we're going to let Hannah talk about her journey.
Cat talk.
Yeah.
She's very...
We have a baby on board. So if you're hearing a pterodactyl, it's just a baby. It's just Cat. It's our producer, number one producer. So, but yeah, I guess before we get started too, we still have t-shirts, people.
Yes. And we found a 3X.
We found a 3X.
Unfortunately.
Homie that wanted to buy it at the tattoo convention, I'm so sorry. It was on my baby's changing table. So, but we have sizes small, medium, large, extra large, double X, 3X, and then we have 2 5Xs for those 5X people that didn't purchase theirs that said they would. Big J.
I was wondering. I thought you had already mailed those. I thought we mailed those out.
No, Big J still hadn't bought his. Tara Towns' dad still hadn't bought his. So if you're part of the big boy squad and you want a 5X shirt, we have 2 of them. First come, first serve. So t-shirts are $25 for sizes all the way up to XL. And then double X and above is 30. That's shipping, everything. Email thebeardlady@gmail.com. Tell me what size you want. I'll send you an invoice, and you can have a beautiful shirt. Oh, which is this, if you didn't know. This beautiful big boy 3X shirt that we're watching right now. Oh, Lordy. Oh, my dad says there is no sound.
I just saw that on the comments, but I don't know why it would not be getting my levels on here.
Are you getting the levels on there?
Yeah.
Well, we do have video.
Just stare at us. We just act like we're having this extravagant podcast, and then it's just no audio the entire time. Is it playing?
It should be good.
Can you hear us on there?
Yeah.
Oh, my dad just might be goofy then.
But he said he's still telling me there's no sound.
Tell him, turn your speakers up. Yeah. Yeah, you can hear us just fine.
Okay, let's see.
Dad, if you're listening, oh, obviously you're not listening. Let me text you.
Yeah, hold on. Is he muted? Does he have himself?
It's on your end.
I wonder if he has to like hit the little microphone thing on the video on his end. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. It's an operator problem for sure.
Well, if somebody else adds in there that they can't hear, then
Yeah, if there is no audio,
please let us. Well, you can't.
does anybody know sign language? So we could tell the people out there.
If-
Write a note and
Yeah.
hold it up. If there is no sound, please
Please
turn.
let us know.
Please let us know in the comments below. But okay, back to what we're doing. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna let Hannah talk about herself. There's always CA's been complaining.
What?
Hannah needs to talk more.
I wasn't even in the
Ruben
last
says
one.
Hannah needs to talk more. Dad said Hannah really needs to get in there and talk more. So you got the floor today.
It's okay.
You
Seth
get to talk
took
about
the last
yourself.
one.
Yeah, Seth was a little. I love that guy to death,
Which
but
is
he
great.
talked enough for both of us. I felt like I wasn't even saying anything on that one. But
We got some good things out of him though.
but yeah, I don't know where you want to start. Where you want to start?
I don't know. Where'd you start?
He was
Did you
born
tell
a-
your whole story?
I just started my apprentice days. You can talk about before you knew your beautiful, amazing husband, or you can I don't know. When did you start cosmetology school anyway?
I knew you when I started that.
I know
That
you
was
did. When did you start it? For people who don't know.
2014, 15, I think. Because I met you in 2000. $13? $14?
I don't even know.
It was somewhere around
It's
there.
all one big blur.
Yeah.
Was that when we met,
14.
or when you allowed me to?
I don't even want you to. I knew that
started.
you.
Is that when you wanted me to? Or Mike's
California.
or things doing that weird
There we go.
shit again. Man, what is up with the technical stuff today?
No,
Alright.
we met like the first to mid part of 2014.
It was when we met.
Yeah.
That's when you were just coming and visiting me
What does that mean?
at the shop.
No, that was.
You were still. Was that before or after you got over your old flame?
I don't want to hear that.
Was it before or after? That's how I think about it. What is going on? I can't do it again.
It's the wire.
I don't know what's making it do it though. Like causing it to go out.
No, so that was right before I started working with Mom.
At the Wally World.
At the Wally World.
Did you like your Wally World job?
That was like 2.5 years of. I didn't hate it. It wasn't horrible, but I did my job. So
Some people didn't.
Some people didn't.
And then when did you start cosmetology school? How long we were in the Orange House?
And you were. No, you had moved. We had moved. We were in. I started working with Mom at the Bird City store, and I worked there for. Because that was like end of 2013 or early 2014. Because I had just started working there when I met you. Like just started like talking to you. Amanda had already hit me up.
For cosmetology?
No, for
Oh,
the
for Walmart. Yeah.
And then I worked there for probably a year and a half.
It was
A
a pretty
little
good
more.
bit.
It was maybe a little bit more than 2 years that I was there because we moved. You moved out of that shitty apartment in Groves.
Yeah,
That was awful. If
It was
anybody
a-
wants to live in a shitty apartment,
Yeah.
we can tell
what
you
was
which
that?
ones.
Groves and
What'd you pay in rent for that place?
$600 all bill. No. Yeah, I think it was $600 all bills paid.
Yeah,
Like
because
everything.
when we moved, we moved into a cheaper apartment, but it was. I give it to that. Like we didn't live in the greatest apartment ever. I don't even remember what it was called, but the apartment that we moved into
Yeah.
was
I keep losing it. Do you keep losing it in your left ear?
10 times better than what you lived in, and we paid cheaper rent there at the one in
Yeah.
Orange. But we moved out of there. I had been working at Walmart for like 2 years, and then
But you were going to Walmart while you were going to cosmetology school
yeah,
too.
but I didn't even start cosmetology school until I might have been there for like a year and a half, and then you moved out of that Groves apartment because I remember I would get off work at like 10 o'clock at night and then have to drive all the way to that place. And then we moved out of there. That's when we moved into that house with that 4-bedroom house with Sarah and Heather. The one your dad bought. The one that we had to repaint it and everything.
Oh yeah, but that was before the orange apartment, but
Yeah.
after the shithole in Groves.
Yeah, so you moved out of there. We all agreed that we were going to move in together. Because I was still living with Mom at the time. Me and Sarah were still there.
That's right.
Me, Sarah, and Heather, because Heather had moved in
That's
Mom's
right.
house. So we were there, and then we all agreed that we would move over there.
You know, sometimes I forget that we even lived in that house.
We lived there for a while.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it
we did.
wasn't like a horribly long time, but
No,
we
it
at
was fun
least-
too. I don't know why I always forget. Like, for some reason, I always just take the transition from that god awful
Groves to
place in
Orange.
Groves to Orange for some reason. But we lived in Dad's rent house for
we lived there at least a year.
at least a year. It was right at a year because weren't we like discussing with your sister and
How
Heather
the
about-
next year
yeah.
would go, because
Yeah.
But we moved there. That's when you had your other allergic reaction before we knew what was going on.
I was painting that place when
Mhm.
that happened. Yeah.
But then that's when we moved in there is when I decided I was going to go back to school. So
Because
that
of
was probably 2000, early 2015. I don't know when they do the enrollment for this school that I went to. But I knew we had been living there, and then I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to school.
But that wasn't the first time you went to school. Didn't you go to school for night nursing or something like that before?
I went right after school. Well, I took some classes in high school, Miss Miller. And then me and Sarah both started at Lamar Orange. And then I remember we went, and I ended up failing English, which was like weird, because I think it was my English class. So I was gonna have to retake that. But like, I want to say Sarah took off a semester with me too. We took off, and then I ended up having a conversation with Dad, just talking to him, and it kind of led from basically if I wanted to go back to school or not, kind
I
of
don't
thing.
do this shit no more.
Yeah. So,
Well,
no, my dad's a good guy. I could be homeless and he'd still love me.
I think we both got that on us at least.
Yeah, so I don't know. I talked to him for a couple days, and then I don't know. I remember specifically when I was in high school, my mom had said something about you should just. I'm trying to think. It was whenever we were signing up for classes or something, and I was like deciding if I wanted to do the nursing program or like something else, because you had like nursing and then cosmetology, and there was a couple different fields that you could get into to kind of get a jump start on college. And I mean, and Sarah obviously took nursing, and so I knew that I was going to, but then my mom had said something about you should, it was,
It's your sister talking about.
she taking credit for our relationship
Yeah,
and marriage.
she was.
Yeah.
We can get into that here just a
Yeah.
little bit. We'll talk about school first.
So, my mom said something about, why don't you go to hair school? Wouldn't you think that was fun? And I told her, I was like, no, I can't stand other girls. I can't be around them. I don't like them. And I would never cut hair. Is what I told her. And then, yeah, I failed my first semester of English. So I was really upset about that. Because it was weird to me that I failed English of all things, which I would have failed math too if I would have taken that, but I didn't take math that semester. So I failed that, took off a semester, and like I said, I think Sarah took off a semester, unless I'm just lying. But I don't remember her going to school right that next semester. Because we took off, like, I think the semester that runs through Christmas, we took that off together. And I had sat down and talked to Dad, and then I was like, thinking that I was like, well, maybe I can go and be like an elementary teacher and like all kind of stuff like that. And then it just narrowed down to now I'm just going to go to school for
hair.
11 months or however long it takes me.
And where'd you
And
go to
cut hair.
school at? Where'd you end up going? What was that place called?
Horrible.
Horrible? That's what that place was called?
No, I went to the Vista College in Beaumont.
How was your experience there?
Absolutely terrible.
You
I
had
hated
some-
it. I
but you
hated
had-
it.
But didn't you have some pretty cool teachers though?
Yeah, like not if they see this, because some of them are on my Facebook. Like I had good teachers, but then it was more so towards the end. because they ended up, I had my level 1, because it was level 1, 2, and 3. Level 1 teacher was just where you sit in class and do lecture all day long, and then she ended up leaving, and she was the best one there, but she just opened up, I just saw that she just opened up her own school in Orange. So, because that's where she worked, that's where her salon was, but she does that now, which is probably better for her anyway, because they treated her like shit, but she was the best teacher we had. And then Wesley, she was cool. But, like, yeah, there was just some, like, it was really when I got to level 3, even though we were on the floor, like, doing hair and doing whatever most of the day, it was like the instructors just wouldn't help you. They expected you to kind of know everything, which a lot of the stuff you would know, but you kind of needed, like, extra guidance with it, because obviously there would be somebody that would come in and be like, oh, well, I want highlights and I want this and I want that, and it's like, you ask them, have you ever colored your hair in, like, the last however many months, because they have dark ass hair and you can see their roots coming in through the top, and they're like, no, I don't use that box dye stuff, blah blah blah. So as a student you're expected to still perform that service. So then you would go grab a teacher and be like, hey, I think she uses box dye, like, should I do the service? Should we try lifting it? Because if it screws up, like, yeah, I'm in school, like, you can use that as an excuse, but I really don't want to do that, like, because when I'm out of here, I'm going to have to tell this person, like, I can't do that service on you. Or at least you can't expect to get this result today. And
so if they're using box dye, you can't dye their hair?
Well, if you just get that horrible stuff from, like, Walmart or something, they put black on it. Like, if you go to bleach their hair for highlights or whatever they're wanting to do, it's not going to lift and instantly start turning this nice lighter color that you can just tone and get rid of it.
Right.
And turn it like this nice blonde. It's going to be horrible. And so just things like that, they would just kind of, like, not care about the people that were in there, I guess, just because those people pay cheap money to come get their hair done by students, so they didn't really care. But I made it.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't, no, that was hard, because that was when we were in that house, and then I had to get up at, like, 5:30, get ready, drive to Beaumont, and be there.
Yeah, I don't see how you did that.
And then I would be there from, like, 8 to 5 or something like that, because we can get there, like, an hour early for, like, an extra hour on our time clock, so why would you not?
Right.
So I would just clock, like, an extra hour every day by getting there at 8, and then I would either just sit there and, like, study if we had something going on, or even just finish getting ready or whatever. So from, like, 8 to 5, and then when I would get out, I'd have to drive. I basically made a big circle every day.
Yeah.
I would go to Beaumont, and then I would sit there, do all that from 8 to 5, and then when I would clock out at 5, leave there, and then have to be at Bridge City Walmart at 5:30.
To deal with that.
But I think it was either 5:30. I may have made them bump it up to, like, 6. Because I remember sometimes if I was, like, early, I would swing into the shop and, like, see you for a little bit before I went across the street to work.
We had matching days often, didn't we?
Sundays and Mondays.
Sundays and Mondays,
Yeah. Because they, like, I remember Walmart was trying to make me work, like, they wanted me to split it, like, give me a couple days off during the week and then make me work whatever. But I told them, I was like, that would make it to where I was going to school all these other days, and then my days off from school, I'd be here.
Right.
So I convinced him to let me have this Sunday, Monday, just so I was like, I'll just do both for 5 days and then get 2 days off. But, yeah, so I made that big circle for, I think, finished in, like, 11 months or something like that.
So when you finished, did you always know that you were going to cut men's hair, or did you want to cut women's hair? And
I hated that school so much, like, and honestly, like, I know a lot of people would say that they came out of school feeling like they didn't know anything, that they just went to school for like 11 months. But, like, I didn't know what I was going to do, because I didn't know, because, I mean, once it comes down to, like, level 3, like, you're working on clients and stuff, but all of the clients that we had were, like, basically clients that you didn't do much of cutting hair at all. On our clients, it was more of, we had, like, an African American clientele, which is fantastic, and I enjoyed that, because a lot of schools don't have, that many people that come in that have textured hair and stuff. So, like, there's a lot of girls that I work with that aren't comfortable doing it, because they've never worked with it. They didn't have them cruise through their hair school, but that's pretty much all I was more uncomfortable cutting my type of hair than I was their hair, because to me it was 10 times easier. But a lot of them, they don't cut it as much, like as
That's
routinely.
what you're practicing on and stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm. So they didn't cut their hair as much, but they would do like updos and like hard styles and things like that. So, and relaxers and crocheting and all kind of stuff like that. So I knew how to do that. But then when I got out of school, I was like, didn't know if I'd be able to build a clientele in that way or what I was going to do. And I don't even remember what made me.
Yeah, I was trying to think about how sports
when I
clips
came
even
out of
came
school,
into.
because I was still working at Walmart. So when I got finished with school, then we had to wait. Like there was like a buffer zone when I finished my hours from the time that we actually got the whole class together to graduate, because I obviously had to wait for the other girls in my class to finish their hours, and then we also graduated with like massage therapy, HVAC guys, and all that stuff. So I just went back full time at Walmart until that happened, but I was still looking for other jobs. But like back home, I knew it was one of those things where I didn't need to start instantly doing booth rent because I didn't have a clientele.
Right.
And I knew that I probably wouldn't be driving all the way out to Beaumont, because I did have regular clients at the school that would want me to do their hair, like Miss Perry and all that. But I was just like, oh, maybe I can just drive out to her house. But she did her hair every Tuesday and Friday.
Right.
So I was like, well, I don't know if I can drive out to you every Tuesday and Friday. So,
How did we find out?
which she still tells me hello, by the way, via other people that go to that school. Like whenever, there was 2 people who went through there, I think. I know Brittany, Heather's wife.
Mm-hmm.
She was there before she graduated. She actually did Miss Perry's hair after, because she would just swap. She would find who she liked or whatever once you graduated. But Brittany would text me. Oh, it was Brittany. She would text me and she would say, hey, Miss Perry said, hey, wants to see how you're doing, blah, blah, blah. And then Miss Wesley would, or no, it wasn't Miss Wesley. Maybe a couple times she would say, Miss Perry's still asking about you, see how you're doing. But, no, I knew booth rent was definitely not the way to go because I would make 0 money.
Well, it's the same for my stuff too. You don't
But
just jump
I
off
don't know
into that.
what actually made me go and apply at the Sport Clips.
Did
I
you
don't
know,
remember. It was newer. It hadn't even been there a year, I don't think.
Did you know anybody there though? Like that, obviously that we have friends that you have friends there now that work there.
That's what I'm trying to think. When I started, I didn't know anybody there. I knew of Courtney, like because we all hung out with like Logan and everybody. I knew she was dating TJ, but me and Courtney had never. I want to say Courtney might have graduated the year after me. She might be a year younger than me. So I knew of Courtney through like Logan and all them, but like we just never met at the same place, same time kind of thing. And by that time, like me and Logan weren't hanging out too often. So I didn't even meet TJ until I started working there, and he would come up to the store and stuff. But yeah, because everybody else I didn't know.
Right. And by this time, we were living in Orange, for sure.
We were
definitely living in our apartment.
I'm
not
trying
my
to
dad's
think.
house.
We were, when I started, like, when I left Walmart and started working.
Yeah, because you were working at Walmart even when because you were still going to school.
Yeah.
When we
So
lived at
we
our place.
moved, did we move while I was in school?
It had to have been.
We did. Because we were there, and I remember having that mental breakdown when I, on the couch when I finished school. Because I was like, I don't know if I was looking for a job or like what. But that's when we first kind of started thinking of like the idea of like moving. Which we had started talking about.
Right.
We had started talking about.
I had to reassure you on that.
We had started talking about moving before we moved out of that 4-bedroom house.
Yeah, because
We came up with the idea, but I was still in school and like doing all that, so it was just kind of like, if we moved, where would we move kind of thing.
Right.
But then once we got over there and then my graduation started creeping up and stuff, it was kind of one of those things where we're like, okay, we're either moving or we're not moving. We need to kind of figure out what we want to do because our lease was going to go up.
You did have a little bit of
Yeah, I had a mental breakdown. Because I hated that place. I mean, I was so happy to be done with it, but I was like disappointed at like, I guess what I figured I should have known coming out of it. So I guess like, and then Walmart had become like,
That's right. And I had to give you another little pep talk because you were scared to work at Walmart when you first started.
well, like,
And I had to tell you, it's all routine.
I wasn't scared to work there.
You're not scared, but you're like,
But,
I don't know what to do.
It was one of those things where I knew that I was going to start school too. So it was like, well, how am I going to work and go to school and like do all these things? Because like I didn't even see you for, if we added up the time that I saw you from the time that I was working and going to school, was like never.
Well, like I said,
I mean, we
Sundays
saw
and
each other.
Mondays.
Like we had Sundays and Mondays, but Tuesday through Saturday, like I said, I'd wake up, you'd be asleep, and then go to school, go to work. And then by the time I came home, it was like, okay, we got to eat and then
Go to bed.
do it all again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we were in Orange, and like I said, we paid what, $5.44.
It was something like that. It was cheap.
All bills paid them. Yeah,
No, it wasn't all bills paid because
we had to pay, what was it, $5.44, and then utilities
yeah,
or something like that. But the utilities were nothing.
yeah, something like that. It was cheap though.
So, yeah.
It was much nicer. Like
Than the one in Groves.
right.
Yeah.
As
Which
far
is
as
like, we,
inside of the door was a lot nicer than what I was living in because it wasn't like a rainforest in there. And
yeah.
and that Groves one,
I mean, we
the
didn't-
couches were like wet.
yeah,
They
it
were
was,
cold, damp.
and if you left your closet, if the clothes that you didn't wear in your closet would just mold.
Yeah, I threw them all away. If you like set a hat down and you didn't move it for like a day or two, it would just create mold on top of it.
Yeah, and the office like wouldn't do anything.
No.
But yeah, the apartment in Orange, like, it was not the greatest. Any of our people from Orange, we lived
It
in
was
those.
nice inside though.
But it was nice because we were right around the corner from Dad. But like, we never had any issues. Our neighbor was like that little old lady, which
Right.
I would prefer. They didn't care if when we went in there, that. What she let us do? Oh, she let us paint that wall.
Yeah.
So we painted that brick wall red, but she didn't care. I don't even think they made us repaint that when we moved.
No, I think I just took a hit on the deposit. I told her I wasn't.
Did she give us any of our deposit back though?
Yeah, we got some of it back. We just didn't get a lot of it back. Or maybe no, I
She
don't think we
might
got
have
any
us-
of it because it was a very little deposit. I remember.
It was like $150.
yeah, something.
It was cheap to move
something
in there.
Super cheap.
But like I said, we didn't have any problems ever. Like, our neighbor was a little old lady. I did have somebody go through my car that once. They
Yeah.
didn't take anything because I never left anything in there, ever. But they,
And then that one dude
they
that
nicely just opened my door because it was unlocked and like went through my backpack and everything, and then just
yeah, we only wanted
shut
a bunch
it
of
back.
school
Like, they
books.
didn't break my windows or anything, so I was appreciative for that. Like, you could look around in
And we
there.
had that
ain't
one
nothing
dude
in
that
there.
like came and knocked on the door really late at night. And he kept like walking around the corner. Remember I was watching. through the
Yeah, that
peephole?
was weird too. And he like wanted you to open the door.
Yeah,
I was like,
I have to murder somebody with my bare hands.
Yeah, so it was like not the greatest apartment, but we made it like nice for us
Yeah, we
just
didn't
for the
have too many
time that we
troubles
were
out of it.
there. Because we were there, and then that's when we decided to move. Because I remember that's when your dad had told us like, your lease is up in September if you're moving. That we didn't want to get caught in another year lease because I don't think they would have let us sign for like a 6-month lease. I
Right.
don't think anywhere in Orange would let you sign a 6-month lease, let alone monthly. And if they did, it would probably been outrageous.
And then you got your job at Sports Clips.
So,
and you lived in Orange.
I
which
want
is
to
convenient.
say, no, I applied, and then I got my job at the Sport Clips in Orange when we still lived in that place.
Right.
So I did most of my training and stuff while but we were moving, like we were getting ready to move, within like a couple months.
To Colorado.
No, from that apartment in with your dad.
Well,
But,
we were moving
yeah.
in with that because we were.
Yeah, we're getting out of that
Colorado.
apartment. So, yeah, because we got married and all in that time too. So I started there at like, I don't remember when I started, like what month it would have been.
Me either.
But I started there, and then that's when me and Courtney became really good friends.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I started and didn't know what I was doing.
But yeah, then
but
kind of.
They pretty much taught me how to cut hair. basically, which is why I enjoy sport clips, is because I can't talk crap on any of the other franchise hair cutting companies because I don't know what their training's like. I've heard what some of the training is like, and it's just nothing pretty much. But like I said, I applied for a hair cutting job and had no idea what I was doing.
That's scary.
Yeah, so they basically, I just went in every day and they taught me how to cut hair pretty much.
You turned out pretty good.
Yeah, so then I had quite a few requests and stuff like that would come in and see me all the time while I was there. And then we always had it. We didn't really have that many people like in and out as far as attrition goes. Like I remember it was just me and Courtney. Natalie's still over there. She still works there. They have like quite a few people that I don't know, like Scarlett, have you seen her talk to me on Facebook before? She actually started there after I was gone. Like towards the time that like I was going to be leaving, because me and her never worked together. But I worked there and then I left, and then Courtney hired her, and then we just would communicate, like comment back and forth on Facebook and stuff like that, just because, I don't know, it was just, I was still involved with that store. And so Courtney would like tag me and stuff that she would tag everybody else in. But yeah, she'll say hi to me. Well, she doesn't live, I think she moved to Corpus Christi or somewhere, but I remember I saw her in Walmart or something whenever we went down for something we were down there for back home, and she stopped me and said hi. But I don't know, I think I like it better here because then,
as far as the sports clips is concerned,
yeah, because this is gonna sound horrible, but it's because I don't ever see anybody I went to high school with. I'm not forced to sit there and cut somebody's hair.
Right.
That, like, I know. And they're just going to make it weird because they know who I am and I know who they are, but they're just not going to say anything kind of thing. That gets weird, so I'm kind of glad. Everybody here, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, once we went to Dad's, we moved into Dad's to start saving hardcore.
Like selling furniture and...
Yeah, we sold everything we owned practically. Except for my TV and my computer.
We kept the TV and the computers, and then some of our kitchen stuff we kept. But a lot of that stuff we got rid of because then we just put it on our wedding registry. Because we got married in November. I think we moved in with your dad in September. Because that's when our lease ended. And then we were with him through, the time that we left.
Yeah.
But we didn't get married until November.
We saved money on November the 7th.
And just sold everything that we could possibly think of.
And we were doing like research and stuff on
apartments
and jobs.
Because we really didn't take a honeymoon.
No, we just it was just a get shit done-a-thon for 5 days. Which
we did everything like super fast because we were living in that boo-boo apartment, and then we ended up paying our way, or part of our way, to go with your dad to Disney in June. We got engaged in June, came home, moved out of that apartment in September.
Sold everything,
and then... lived
in separate bedrooms in my dad's house.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dad for that one.
And then you're going to do the same damn thing to your kid. I don't even want to hear it.
She's not allowed to date at all.
Or get married ever. Yeah.
Ever.
Now your thoughts are different. So, yeah, I lived with him and got married in November. And then literally spent from November until Christmas, looking for apartments.
Our honeymoon was, we drove all the way up here.
Yeah.
And stayed and found jobs and a place to live all in about I would say that we found jobs and then we found a place to live in like the last 2 days that we were here, because you had another mental breakdown on Colfax
on the way to Voodoo Donuts. Had a mental breakdown in the middle of the street. But that's because I don't even remember why.
It's because we didn't have anything.
I told you, because we didn't have anything, and then the apartments we were looking at were like downtown, so they were like outrageous. And I was like, I don't feel comfortable signing a lease for one of these places because I'm not going to be able to afford it.
Yeah, and then my job ended up being in Aurora, so we definitely wasn't going to work
there. And then there's not even a Sport Clips downtown, and I don't even think, which that has nothing to do with. I mean, Ted personally doesn't want to put a Sport Clips downtown right now, but none of the other franchises have ever attempted it. Because there's Great Clips and Floyd's and stuff down there, but the original Floyd's ever created is down there. So, like, which is stupid because the Floyd's right there, I want to know the difference between what that Floyd's makes on, like, catty corner from us.
Mm-hmm. Off Champa?
Off of Champa. And
is that the original one right there?
That's the original one. Like, they wanted Ted to open one, like, right there around the block. Because I told him, I asked him at the last Christmas party, I told him, I said, well, if you open one downtown on, you know, I'll help you. Because, I mean, our shop's literally right there on the corner. So, but he was like, no, I'm not going to do that because the original Floyd's is right there and I don't know how that would go. So, but if that Floyd's is right there, but when you cut that left right there and walk down, that Great Clips is like, I'm trying to think, it's like right across from like the Ross or the TJ Maxx or something. It's like right across the street. So I don't even know like how that Great Clips survives right there with that Floyd's there.
In our building, there's so many hair places in that building.
But they're individual. I mean, they work for themselves.
I guess
so they have their own clientele. It's not like you're fighting for competition as far as like what Floyd's and Great Clips would. Like Floyd's probably has a tremendous more amount of, they're just more popular and well known. Like they can do more services. They're more expensive than Great Clips. So obviously if you get somebody down there who's like, oh, I'd rather pay $12 for a haircut than 30, you know, they'll obviously go the other direction. But anyways, our jobs were not downtown.
Yeah.
And we had only planned on looking at places that were technically downtown because we were going to get rid of the vehicles. The dream was to walk to work every day, like just.
We had high hopes, or I had high hopes more than you.
Yeah.
And then
people who come from a small town have that big city life idea, and then when you get here, it completely doesn't work. I've never rode public transit before either, and still don't know how.
Yep, me either.
Never took the bus. So, thank God we still have our cars.
So we found a house, found an apartment. I found a job pretty quick, though. I actually came up here.
I did, too. I basically told Ilea that I was...
Teddy had told me about EOD, and then I went and talked to them, and then they sent me to...
He recommended that you go out there.
Right, to Aurora.
Because you would get more walk-ins out
right.
there. But I remember I basically told Ilea that I was coming in for an interview. It was like the day before we left. Because I had went in there. Remember, I went in there and I like told her, I was like, I'm from Texas and I already work for Sport Clips. I'm going to be hopefully living in the area. Can I have a job?
She gave it to you.
Well, she was like, do you have your cosmetology license transferred? And it had never crossed my mind that I was going to have to do that. Like, obviously, no, you have to do that. But I wasn't thinking of, like, the process of doing it. And I was like...
Texas is horrible, isn't it?
It was the communication from, Texas. I could get a hold of Denver office, licensing office, like that. Texas is a whole other story. So I was like, oh, no, I haven't. And she was like, you might want to get that started because... She said, we've hired people before who've moved from other states, and we understand, like, we're not going to not hire you because you haven't done it, but it takes a little while, depending on where you're coming from. She was like, so I don't know how the state of Texas works, and, you know, I would start that process sooner rather than later. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I figured, like, I guess in my head I was thinking that she would call me back for, like, an interview, because, like, she had me fill out the application there, and then she told me, if you haven't transferred your license, I would go ahead and transfer it to the state of Colorado. That way, when you get here in January, you don't have to worry about it. So like, okay, I'll do that as soon as I get home. And then we were there and like spent the rest of those days like looking at apartments and stuff, and I hadn't heard anything. And it was one of those things where it was like, I'm gonna make her tell me that I have a job before I leave and go home, because if I go home and we have an apartment, Justin has a job and I don't have a job, I'm gonna have another mental breakdown. So I just remember calling up there, and little Jess answered the phone, and I was like, hey, I was in there like a couple days ago. I put in an application. I'm actually leaving tomorrow.
Didn't we need something for the apartment too, though?
What do you mean?
As far as like proof of a job for the Avenue 8. Wasn't there something with that too?
They
While we were
let
coming?
me send my all they asked for was my pay stubs from Texas.
Oh, that's right. Because I had to call
Previous
Flipper
pay
and-
stubs or something.
Flipper
But we
to,
had to like,
give me some
yeah,
kind
he had
of
to finagle
spreadsheet
your
shit.
pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like because it's like I don't have a record of what I get paid, but yeah. So I told little Jess, I was like, I'm leaving tomorrow. Like I put in an application, kind of want to know what's going on before I go all the way back home because I'll be moving in January. And she was like, okay, cool. Let me call Aaliyah. She's not here, and see what we can do. And she called to see if she could do an interview because it was Aaliyah's day off. So Aaliyah let her do it, and then she called me back and was like, yeah, you can come talk to me for a little bit. Which it was little Jess, so
Right.
we just sat there and talked for a little bit, and then they hired me and told me they'd wait till January. So I just kept in contact with Aaliyah through email, but transferring my thing was painful. Yeah, because they
We-
did
we
everything
had-
through snail mail.
Yeah, didn't we
So-
get up here and you still hadn't got your...
I got my license successfully transferred and in my email to print 3 or 4 days after we had been here. So like
Crazy.
it was like 2 days before I had told Aaliyah I was going to start work. Because I think we moved here on the 21st and I started work on February 1st.
That's right.
And I had been telling her, I was like, I haven't gotten my license in my email yet. Like, they're saying they're going to send it and I can just print it. And then I ended up getting it like 2 days, a day or two before I had to go to work.
And we lived in a 455 foot...
488
Was that 488 square foot house? Was that with the balcony though?
with the balcony,
That
488
was
square
considered
feet.
in the balcony square footage.
Yeah.
I think it
Which
was like
that was like a little cubicle that I could just put like plants on.
put one chair and a plant on that balcony.
It was cute though. Like I miss those apartments. I really do. If they had apartments this size, I'd still be living there.
Yeah, it was really
Like
nice. The
I
people were
loved
really nice.
that place.
Jess was cool, which was our. She ended up moving up the ranks. She's
Yeah.
like one of the big dogs there now.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
that was super fun. They moved across
Who-
the hallway.
She moved up and was like
She was like up in like
she
management.
was like property manager or something
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, she was super nice.
But that was a super nice place. It wasn't big. I couldn't even get a king size bed in the
Well, we
in the
ended up the
bedroom.
one that we actually moved into after that one was like 700 something square feet, but it was 2 bedrooms, and it honestly wasn't set up horrible. Like it didn't feel tiny,
Except
but
for
then
the
when you
fact
get family and stuff
that
like
the
that,
AC unit was in the living room
and then we had nothing towards
In
the
the
back of the
bedroom.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that sucked.
but that portable thing that we had,
Portable AC unit for those who've never had one, and if you're hot in your bedroom,
what do we do with that?
I gave it to my sister.
No, that was you gave the one that you had back home to your sister. We had one back home, and you let her have it because we weren't going to bring it on
it's
the
in
move.
that. It's in that thing.
Oh, we still own it?
Yeah.
Why didn't we whip that out when our AC was out?
Fuck, I don't know. Now that I think back, because I
I'm
know
like
that
sitting
Vince,
here like yelling at the office, like you guys aren't 7.5 months pregnant. Like turn my AC back
I'm
on.
almost positive
There's
it's
one
in
in
that
the
thing.
damn closet.
Damn, we could just set that up. Just in general.
I'm mad about it. Yeah, we're gonna put it in the bedroom tonight because I'm sweating all the time.
I forgot all about that. We do. It's in that freaking closet right there. How crazy.
I'm mad about that. But yeah, so we did that. But Amanda does take credit for our relationship,
Oh, yeah. So I guess
which
we-
means she's probably gonna take credit for everything else,
We
like
can
our
talk-
our child and
We can talk
everything
about
else.
that relationship, how that blossomed,
What?
how I met you.
What, you stalked me on Instagram and then
I
texted
did.
my older sister about it?
I think what had happened was I knew Amanda, I knew Rodney, because we all hung out with
You had,
that
like,
group of
mutual friends.
Gabe, Brandy, all those people. Dad actually said it the other day. I don't know what I was talking to him about. He said that, because I was working at the strip club,
Mhm.
and he said that he woke up one morning, or like sometime early in the morning. He said he just walked and looked out the window in the bathroom. He said there was just like
People.
all
Everywhere.
over his pool. He said he just went back to bed.
Your poor dad.
Yeah,
He's
Amanda
probably
and
so
them
proud. This is why he's so proud of you now.
Amanda and them had brought like this punch, and this is back when I could drink and I wasn't allergic to everything.
Yeah, that's
just
definitely
like
put a halt on
A
your
cooler
party
of
life.
some type of punch, and I was working at the strip club, so we'd get off late. Amanda,
Just go
Rodney,
to Terry Bosier's
Gabe,
house.
Brandy, Baby Legs, all those people would come to and hang out in the hot tub, and we'd play music and stuff like that. Anyway, I knew
But
Amanda.
when was the last? But from like, when was the last time that you had seen or like been around Amanda? By the time that
Me and you met? Well, I had talked to them all the time. I mean, I say all the time. I just knew them.
yeah,
And like I said, we had come to they had come over to my house and stuff, and we had gotten the hot tub and shit like that. Amanda will probably correct me if I'm screwing this up, but we obviously knew each other. And then I didn't even know that she had sisters
yeah.
or brothers, for that matter.
It was like
I didn't
what,
know
like,
I didn't know anything outside of Amanda. I just knew Amanda and I knew Rodney because we all hung out with the same people. And I think I went into work one day, and for some reason I wasn't there, and you got tattooed by Mark.
Yeah, you were. I don't know if you were out with
I
like your
wasn't there.
gout or
Something
something.
would happen.
Because I specifically remember when we went, Chance, like we were looking through portfolios, and Chance pulled yours, and said he's not here. He's
Right.
been out sick for a while.
Something like that. It might have been that time that I was like down.
I think so, because he had said something about you being gone, sick or something. You'd not been there. So
I think that was during the time that I was like down for a really long time because I had just broke up with Idiot. And
I thought you had that when you were still together,
no,
or you had that was your second one.
the really
Bad
bad one. I mean, she would come over every once in a while, but we were on the out. Like we were broke up. I was living there by myself.
Yeah.
But Dad was having to come over and take care of me because I couldn't get down the
Mhm.
stairs.
But we ended up, because I saw, me and Sarah saw Mark, but I think it was just,
Yeah. But anyway,
you weren't there.
Yeah, and he said that Amanda's sisters had come.
Because it was just, Amanda wasn't even, well, she might have been with this for the first part, but I know for sure that it was me and Sarah, and then
Wasn't
Brandon. Brandon took us.
Oh. And I was like, Amanda has sisters. He's like, yeah, I think they're twins. I was like, what? So I stalked you on Instagram or Facebook or something. I think it was Instagram. And I think I just texted Amanda, and I said, "Your sister is easy on the eyes." That was my line. And then Amanda instantly messaged me back, "Do you want her phone number, or do you like her, or do you want her phone number?" I was like, "Or do you like her, or something like that?" It was
she
super
gave
quick.
me my phone number without even saying anything to me, because I get a text message before, like from you, before she had even contacted and was like, "Hey, do you know who this is?" It's like, no, but I'm assuming that's who just texted me because I don't know the phone number. And she's like, "Yeah, I gave it to him."
So yeah, and then we pretty much hadn't stopped talking since that day.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Well,
Because I was at Logan's house.
Yeah.
And she texted me and she was like, "Hey, do you know who this is?" And I was like, "No."
I got pictures of you though coming to the shop.
I've heard his name before, and I think I know where he works, but other than that, no. She's like, "Oh, we're friends with him and blah, 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 and he texts me about you, and you should really get to know him." So, of course, I'm just
Good
like,
call, Amanda.
"Okay, whatever."
Good call, Amanda.
Yeah. And then you were at the Galveston convention, you, Mark, and Chance.
Yeah.
And Flipper, I guess, at the time. Y'all were out there.
And I started hitting you up.
But then when y'all came home, I went up to the shop and met you for the first time.
Yep. And then we started talking a lot, hanging out. You helped me move to the dungeon.
Into the moldy apartment. I helped you move there.
And then you would
Which
come
that
and
was
hang out.
like, I don't
That's
even think
right
we
when
had
you
known
first
each
got a
other.
car too.
I don't even think we had known each other for a month. I didn't have a vehicle.
You were having to use Sarah's every once in a while, but then you got your own
Well,
vehicle.
we shared a vehicle because we were, when we were in high school, we just drove to school together and whatever. And then I pretty much let her just.
I knew you were a keeper
had
when
it.
you just moved my shit.
You
All
really
right.
didn't have that much stuff. But that was like the first time I met your dad. Like, and hopefully Terry was like, thinking this poor girl the whole time.
Mm-mm.
Because I think he was there
Yeah, he
when
was.
we went to get your stuff out of the garage. He was probably like wondering how much you paid me to help you move all these boxes.
And you hung through those Dota days.
And yeah, so I cringe every time I like, whenever you were you talking to CA and you were like, no, who are you talking to?
Last night, CA and
No,
Raven.
you were talking to them last night. But you've uninstalled and reinstalled Dota like
Numerous
5 times over the last 3 years or so.
Yeah, but when you met me, I was deep in it.
But when I met you, like, I remember I would come over to your apartment, like, I would get off work. Like, this is before we turned old and
This is
decided
before we
to
were
have
really
kids.
dating.
Yeah.
You were still with your old. You were
No,
still
it wasn't. No, it
liking
wasn't.
your old flame.
I'm going to go kill myself if he sees this, which he probably will. This was before, like,
Because you asked me
we
out
would stay up late.
in
Because I would get off work at,
September. Wasn't it
10
September? Because you gave me a boo.
So that's when we first started.
Will you
putting-
be my boo?
That's when I got all this Halloween stuff early
On
at
the
the
cookie
Walmart
cake.
because I was still working there. But I would get off at like 10:30. If I brought my things to work and left them in my car, I could leave work at like 10:30, depending on when I got done or whatever. I'd probably get to your place at like, I don't know. It probably wouldn't take me 30 minutes to get from Bird City to Groves.
It wasn't long.
But sometimes I'd either have my stuff. If I didn't, I'd have to drive back to West Orange and then drive all the way back. But it didn't matter because if you weren't responding by the time I got off work, I knew that you weren't asleep. So I knew that you were playing Dota. So it was like more times than not, I would have to come in. You would be... Because when I first met you, you had your computer set up in, like, the corner, like, outside of the kitchen. But then you moved it to, like, the front corner of the house.
Yeah.
Which you probably should have never done. Because you would scream at the top of your lungs when you had your headphones on.
Well, I had it in the back, but my kitchen would get water.
Oh, yeah, and you thought your computer was going to, like, explode. So... I remember that I would come in from work and it would be like 11 o'clock at night and then you would just be sitting there with your headphones in and like you wouldn't say anything, you wouldn't do anything, you would just look over at me to see who's coming in your front door, I guess to make sure it was just me. You wouldn't say anything, you would just look back at your computer and I would like go change out of my work clothes or whatever and then come back and I would just sit on the couch or wherever and you would just be screaming at the top of your lungs, like I don't know how many times you broke your mouse, if ever.
No, I did.
But you would slam that thing over and over and over.
That Walmart
that
Microsoft optical mouse. That thing took some abuse.
Yeah, and I'm like, how do these neighbors deal?
Well, I had one side
was the laundry room.
It was a laundry room. That's
but
why
you had neighbors
on the other side and above me. But hell, there was nothing.
That was
numerous
like
times we'd be sleeping. There'd be some people yelling out in the fucking courtyard, doing whatever.
She's like death staring at me. That was like, but that was like the worst of it, because you played like.
Well, we wouldn't
you
even
lived
go to
there,
sleep till
but you
the
would
sun
play.
Would come up.
No, and then you would have to basically get up and go to work at, like you'd get up at 1:30 and have to be at work at 2.
Yeah.
But. Yeah. That was the bad Dota days. Like, I don't ever have problems with you playing games. It's just whenever you get to that level to where you're just, like...
Because I would play, like, 2,
so
3,
mad.
4 in the morning.
Yeah. Because you would still play like that when we moved from Groves and moved in with Heather and them. Because then you had that own room outside of, like, our bedroom.
Yeah.
So you would play, and, like, when I started school... Obviously, you would just stay up and play that, and I would never see you, which I never saw you anyway, for the most part.
Or I would sit with Sarah and play the Wii.
Yeah,
or the
because they were there. But I always had to go to bed early, but that's always what you were doing, is playing Dota. And you even played, like, when we moved from there to our orange apartment, you just couldn't get as crazy, because that's when you were using that glass computer desk.
So I couldn't slam my mouse as much?
But you would still, like, scream and stuff like that. But then it just kind of, like, trickled out. Like, you get mad and you that's when you started uninstalling it. I think you uninstalled it the first time when we lived there.
Yeah, I didn't play for like almost a year.
Because I don't even think you played the whole time that we lived with your dad or anything like that. And
I was
then
on
you
that
picked
Magic
it.
kick again.
Yeah, you did a lot of Magic. You would leave and go play that, but you
Would you
started.
rather me play? Would you rather me continue to play Dota, and have all the money back from Magic, or would you rather me have played out the way it did, quit Dota, and then started spending
Either way,
$1,000 on Magic?
If money is what we're looking at, I'd much rather you play Dota all day long every day. Because I don't even want to know what we spent in those huge white boxes of Magic cards.
It's a lot.
Yeah, because you had like 3 or 4 of them.
Because I would spend like $300 or $400 every time a set came out.
Yeah. Every time a set came out. So.
Which was only like 2 or 3 times
If
a
it
year.
had to do with the money, I'd say play Dota all day long. But I don't care what you do. I mean.
But we played Magic together though. I tried to play.
Yeah, I had my one little deck, which I think it's still together in that little purple box.
It is. It's down there. Because we started playing Commander.
Yeah, so I was like able to get onto that. Obviously, I would never be able to get on like the Dota train.
No.
But you didn't play the whole time that we lived with your dad, and then when we moved up here, I think you reinstalled it when we lived in that super tiny apartment.
Yeah, I played a little bit.
And played a little bit, but then you instantly uninstalled it.
But I've never got to the level that I used to play, like 4 or 5 in the morning.
That was like from...
Because I would just play game after game after game after
Yeah.
game. Nowadays, I can't even play one fucking game, and my blood pressure's through the roof.
But yeah. Stuck around for that.
Yeah, you've hung in there.
But yeah, you would play that forever. But you would get off. Like, if I was there, like, it was literally you just, like, playing that one last match or whatever, and then you'd say you had to go.
Yeah, I never played more than, like, one once you got there.
But that was before we were, like,
Then we'd watch movies.
We'd watch, like, 4 movies, and
the sun would be coming up, and then we would go to sleep.
And then you'd have to, like, get up, like I said, at 1:30.
Yeah,
and it would always depend on what time I had to be at work. Because I closed a lot, so I didn't have to... I remember what I worked.
Yeah, so we go to sleep at like 7 or something in the morning, and then I would sleep till 1:30.
Bridge City Walmart didn't close until... We closed at 10, but I mean... I'd be in there until like 10:30. What time did I have to be there? Like 2 to 10 or so. I think I had to be at work like at the same time you did.
That's right.
So we'd have to go out to Bridge City. But yeah, that was...
That's how it all started.
Yeah. That's...
Oh, gosh.
Didn't scare me off.
No.
But yeah, Amanda definitely takes credit for that.
She was. She played the cards good on that one. She was that fire starter.
Yeah. Did you ever think that Amanda would be your sister-in-law and Ronnie would be your brother-in-law?
No, I didn't. Because it was fast. I even remember she was so quick on that draw.
Amanda gets excited.
That I was like, because I remember like saying, I literally said, "Your sister is easy on the eyes." The next text message was like,
"Do you want her number?
Do you like her?
Yeah.
Do you want her phone number?" And I was like, I don't even know her. But yeah, I'll take her phone number if that's how that plays, if that's okay. So I was like, whoa, pull them reins, girl.
Whatever.
Because I got these other 15 ladies on the line too.
Yeah, I just told 5 people at the same time their sister was easy on the eyes, and you're the one who hit me back up first. So I'll take that one.
That was not it. I still had time though. Like I said, you're still in that old flame for quite some time. It was definitely past Easter.
Don't even start that conversation.
But yeah, we got up here, and everything's been pretty good so far. We had some rough nights when we first moved up here. I cried. I think I cried a couple of times.
Because we didn't have anything.
We didn't have anything, living paycheck to paycheck.
It wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. We played it pretty good, though.
I think we would worry ourselves because we didn't have anything. We literally sold everything that we had. And came up here with some odd dollars, and then
We had a pretty good little nest egg.
well, we had money from like what we sold, and then we were gonna
From what
buy
we got from our
furniture
wedding,
and like
too.
things like that. But I mean, once we actually got here, I mean, you don't really have anybody to rely on but
But it was hard
each
building.
other.
But you had to really, like, your job was pretty
Steady.
obviously consistent, and mine was, at the time, was like super
Hit or miss on what
Yeah.
time of the year it was, and you had just gotten here in January, so
Yeah.
that's like coming up on the end-ish of slow season.
So
So
and then
you
there was-
hadn't fully picked up yet,
Yeah. So there's nights that I was worried and stuff, but we hung in there,
but
and they were making really good money. We were like, hey, let's move it on up across the hallway. Let's
give me
get
that 2-bedroom,
give me that
700
ring.
and something square feet. So yeah, we've never done, I mean, horrible since we've been here. I mean, we're not homeless,
No, definitely
We
not
just-
homeless.
but we're homebodies too, so we don't go and like, you can't drink, so
No,
it's
I'm
not
off the
like you
bottle.
can go chill with anybody and like do anything too crazy.
We were the only ones up here, and then Alan and Kitty followed suit.
Yeah,
When did your job move up here, Alan?
they were here a year after us, I
It
think,
was like a year right after we had been here.
Think so.
and now he's got a child,
Yeah, we got a little cat, and we're
about to have
about
one.
to have one. You want to talk about that?
Cat beat us first.
Yeah, if you haven't
Cat
noticed,
beater here.
she doesn't just like to eat. It's for a reason. We're brewing a child in there.
Yeah, Cat's homie.
Cat's future partner in crime,
Yeah.
and she'll be
I wonder
doing.
how well, she's been to daycare, so she's seen other little kids before. We'll give her somebody to hang out with, though.
Yeah, October the 3rd.
If not before or after.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully after, because I was telling, who was I telling? Tammy, I think at work today. Because I was trying to, like, talk to her and be like, okay, like, if I have her on my own, I'll just call you and be like, hey, call Ted and let him know I'm on maternity leave because this is about to happen. But I told her, I was like, if I don't have her, they're going to schedule me an induction date, odds are, at a certain time. Don't know when that would be. But I was just telling her that would be kind of like a nerve-wracking thing to do. Like, at that point, if I knew I wasn't, for whatever reason, going to have her, it wasn't looking like I'd have her on my due date or before, and they would have to schedule an induction date. Basically telling her, okay, we may have to move me from, because I work quite a bit more mornings now than when Leah was there,
Right.
because we let some people go and I had to take over in the morning. So, I told her, I was like, we may just have to, which we have a ton of people now. We have like, we just hired another one. I think we have like 11 or 12.
Damn. I didn't even know y'all had that many people there.
We're the most fully staffed store out of all 14 of our stores. Because Ted just bought Evergreen, I think is what it's called. But they're apparently not, they're in bad shape. They were a Wiesman store, I think. But yeah, that's why they keep trying to pull us for like help in other places, because Angela is in Castle Rock. She's been having, less staff, and then, Kelly, we always try and help her because she's like 10 minutes up the street. So it's a little bit easier to drive to Kelly's. But so I was telling her, if that is the case, like if I start creeping up on my due date and they don't think that she's going to be here before, or at least by my due date, we may have to put me on like 12 to 6. That way I'm there in the middle of the day, because that's what Murphy said she did. That way, if something happens in the morning, I'm not leaving the store with like one
Right.
opener, like, hey, I've got to go, like, have a kid. Sorry, you're going to have to be here by yourself. Or if I'm at night and something were to happen while I'm at work, or,
Yeah.
whatever, I'm not leaving people in a bind. So if I work at 12 to 6, then there's people there in the morning. I'm not leaving the store with nobody there. So
But we didn't even talk about your microblading.
yeah, did school for that.
Yeah. So we're working at sports clubs.
Well,
We started talking about
I worked at the sport clubs in Orange, and then moved here. Leah gave me a job. Still working there. Well, I worked there. I've been there for going on 3 years, which is crazy. But I left and I managed the Green Valley Ranch store for a little bit. and then you couldn't ever walk or do anything.
Yeah, that was a rough time.
That was probably one of the roughest times we've had since we've been here, and it has nothing to do with like being here.
Yeah,
it just happened. So I was driving like 45 minutes out to the airport to the store that they had just opened out there to manage that, and then your gout and stuff started getting crazy to where I was like leaving in emergencies, but it would take me 45 minutes to get home. So I told Ted to just transfer me back. Well, I went and talked to Ilea and told her that I wanted to come back, and pretty much asked her if she would be willing, if it was worth talking to Ted, pretty much being like,
right, would
you be cool with me coming back? Which I didn't think she would ever say no, which she's watching this, by the way. I got her text message.
Oh, did she?
But talk to her about it, see what she thought, because I told Ted, I said, you don't have to give me my assistant manager job back, like, I just need a job in a store over there. Just because
I was crippled.
Yeah. So
and we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, or how long it was going to last. So I stepped down from over there. He gave me my assistant job back. So I started working for Ilea again, and then
shout out to Denver Arthritis Clinic.
Oh, Greg,
you're a freaking lifesaver. If you're having gout problems,
go see Greg.
or arthritis problems, go see Greg. He's a freaking miracle worker.
And he's a really young guy.
And he just had a baby.
What, from Louisiana? Was he from Louisiana?
Fuck, if you know that, I don't know that.
I think he was.
Was he?
I remember that from the first time we met Greg at your appointment.
He
just had his
nice
second baby. He already had a little
yeah.
boy. But yeah, he
fixed me up.
Yeah.
Greg, you're the man. I am the man I am today because of him.
Yeah. So.
But somewhere in there, I forgot when we started talking about even opening up a shop.
I don't even remember because you had always said because I've asked you before, would you ever want to open up your own shop? And you always told me no, probably not until like around retirement age, if not like in my 50s, like whatever, just so that you can have employees
retirement
but not
fund.
Work as much. Yeah, just have income, but you're not having to work until you're 85. I don't remember. I don't know. I think you were just kind of struggling with the street shop thing.
Yeah.
For a while. Like, you just didn't. You were pretty much over it at that point. And I don't want to say it had a lot to do with, like, clients, but.
Right. There's a lot of stuff.
That comes with it. That's a part of it. But I don't remember what made us, like.
I think me and Dad
fully set on, like, doing it.
Yeah.
Like, getting serious about, like, okay, we're really going to open our own place. You know what I mean? Like, what finally pushed it to that point?
I don't remember either. That was such a because it went fast.
Because I don't even know if it was, like, before I decided I wanted to try and do microblading, or I was like, hey, this looks cool. You think I should try it? I can do, because I remember Gabby, which she may see this too. She was one of my employees at the Green Valley Ranch store, and she was currently taking the course for the microblading. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do it that way, you know, because I was even considering flying home and going back to Houston for however many days, training there, and then coming back. But then she was like, no, you don't have to do that. You can just do it through here. And she gave me the information for it. So I don't know if it was like kind of built off of me, like, hey, I'm going to learn how to do something else. And then it was like, okay, well, if you do that, maybe we could both open up a shop, or like, I don't know what started that. But I started it as soon as I went to Huddle in April of 2018. I had ordered my kit before I left for Huddle in April of 2018, went to San Antonio, and then when you picked me up from the airport, you had told me my kit came in, and you had it in my car. So I started my training
pretty much right after that.
April of 2018. And I finished.
And then we started looking for building. I think
and then
we
so while I was doing that,
started looking for.
Yeah. So like when I would go and cut hair all day, and then I would come home and do my schoolwork or whatever and get all that submitted. So I finished in like October.
But you were close to finishing because we had already
It
started.
was October or November. It was before the holidays that I had finished my training.
Because in October is when we signed our lease.
Mm-hmm. But I was still
for the
working on my
place.
training.
Yeah.
Because I remember I almost had another mental breakdown. I did. Because we had found that place and decided to sign a lease, and I still wasn't even done with my school, but was about to open a business for something I haven't even finished my training for yet. So, mental breakdown there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finished, like, we had bought or started leasing out the space and renovating it, like ripping everything out.
We had October,
And I finished.
November, and
I think I
December.
finished in a month. I
Yeah.
finished like that next month or something
'Cause we
like
had to
that.
pay
Because
for,
I
like,
was
one
close
extra
to
month.
finishing it. Yeah. And then I finished within that next month, and then
Yeah. And then
we're open by January.
we were open on January, and we'd always, you were down to have a baby quick.
I would
you
have had a
would-
baby
you would have had a baby,
anywhere
yeah.
at any time.
But I wanted to get the business started, and as soon as it was pretty much done, because it was done. I mean,
It was done earlier. It was
was
the
in
paperwork
December.
that we waited on.
right. It was done in December.
Getting all of the licensing and everything that we had to have hanging up in the shop. We had to have the health inspectors come through there. That was a wait. I think a lot of the wait was waiting on them, which it wasn't horrible, but you had to schedule. Remember, you had to schedule for the fire department to come out, and then somebody else would have to come out. They couldn't all come out at the same time.
No,
kind of thing.
And they wanted to call you when they were down there.
Yeah, and then the
Like,
health
oh, by
department.
the way, we're here. Would you like to do your inspection right now? Because
Yeah, and then you're not there.
It's like, oh, I'm at the house in my underwear,
And
sitting
then
in
you
my
have to
computer.
reschedule. So that was like the longest part. So we were probably could have been rocking and rolling like December.
Yeah.
Late no, like Thanksgiving-ish.
What was late
December.
It was definitely into December before we could have got anything going.
Yeah.
Because I don't remember when Rodney and Amanda came up. 'Cause
Yeah,
Rodney
when did they
my
put the
floor.
floors in? That was like one of the last things that we had to do other than Billy coming in and doing the
It was in
the
December,
mural.
wasn't it?
Something. Because Billy and them came after the floors were in. Didn't they?
Yeah.
And then
definitely so.
put our mural up for us.
Yeah, shout out to Billy Jukes.
And his lovely lady.
I'm trying to think of Billy's brickslovesyou.com.
Yeah.
He's the guy that did our. If anybody's ever wondered and
Or
seen the
hit his
pictures of the beard
Instagram
lady,
up. I think it's the same.
yeah, Bricks Loves You. BRIKS. He's out of Austin. Super nice guy. Him and his lady. They stayed with us the whole time we did our mural. It was super nice. Much love to those peeps.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I wanted to have our business before we even started trying to have a little
Mini
baby.
us.
And pretty much as soon as New Year's came around and we knew that the business was
Well, we had
pretty
like
much
everything
starting.
like done. Because I wasn't, everybody had asked me, they were like, you just going to quit Sport Clips and blah, blah. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't survive that way. But like I've always told Ted and them too, like, even if I were to make $1 million doing eyebrows and had enough clientele, like, give me a day or two in here to cut some hair because I'm not doing it at my house, you know?
Right.
And I have like a lot. I've worked here longer than I did in Orange, but I have like a lot of clientele here now. So, and then Ilea gave me all of hers. Thanks for the stress.
But yeah,
Just kidding. I love them. They're great. They ask
when we
about you all
first
the time.
started trying to have a baby, you told me, yeah, you know, like
I
some
wasn't
people-
trying to discourage you.
No,
That was not the
some
thing.
people don't get pregnant for like a year or a year and a half or
I mean,
2
it
years.
depends
And I
on
was
who you
like,
are. It's
oh my
harder
Lord.
for. I know a lot of people who wanted a kid tomorrow and 2 years passed.
But I can tell you right now, we had no problem. It was quick.
She'll be here October 3rd.
No problem whatsoever.
So.
But yeah, we got a little Saren on the way, and the business is doing pretty good. And yeah, it's been good times.
If only I could convince Ted to pay me for maternity leave for all
Yeah.
my hard work.
Man, that'd be an amazing thing if that happened. But It's been a hell of a journey. It's been fun.
Not that long of a time
Stressful.
either.
No,
A lot of
we got
mental breakdowns.
a lot of mental breakdowns.
More so on my side than yours, but somebody's got to have the mental
A
breakdowns.
little stress here and there, but it all worked its way out. It's a help of our family. My dad, Rodney for putting in my floors.
Still floor guy. Appreciate
Rodney puts in a hell of a floor and
Mhm.
quick.
it. Your dad says something every time he's up here, though. Man, he really did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But,
they do look good.
yeah. Is that it? Is that our life story? Everybody knows who we are now? And what's
Yes.
going on? How we got to where we are, kind of,
Yeah.
for the most part. But,
For the most part. We get along most of the time.
yeah. We've only had one little fight ever. It wasn't even a fight.
This is more of a lashing.
It was just
at
me lashed out, and then that was it, and you still hold
That's
it over
because
my
you don't
head.
mess, like, don't do things with the animals. You
Yeah.
talking about when you got rid of
Cleo.
my hairless cat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cleo bit the dust.
Yeah.
But that's been
You
it.
had to pry her out of my arms.
But we've always
you remember
been
that? Prying her out of my arms when I was crying. And then you
I
came
don't
home
remember
after
it
and
like-
gave her away and I was still crying.
I don't remember that
Yeah.
being like that at all.
Yeah. So,
I think you.
anytime you ever bring up, we should get another hairless cat, it just infuriates me at the comment or idea of doing that ever again. Which that was on us because we should have never done that when we were living with.
Yeah.
I mean, our house was big enough for however many people we had, but we had, Heather and Sarah still had Izzy,
Yep.
which
That was kind of my fault too.
is kind of one of your impulse ideas.
Yep.
But,
But I guess that's it. We're gonna wrap this up.
sure.
You can. If you want your eyebrows did
Hit me up.
for microblading, hit Hannah up. You can email the beard lady. Set up an appointment. I just updated photos on the.
Did you do both? Did you do Google too?
No, I don't think I've uploaded videos. I needed to get
You
on
have
that.
photos on Google?
I have. Yeah, from like what I post on like
Mhm.
every once in a while. But I need to post your pictures on there
Yeah.
too. But
Well,
I
I have
have them
my
on the
other
website
ones
for sure.
on there, I think.
But
think we put
yeah,
Heather's on there.
I did.
I just didn't put, I can't remember that sweet lady's name.
But it's $400 for the
Marie.
first session. Give them all the rundown of everything.
It's a $100 deposit first. It goes towards the price of your tattoo or your microblading. $400, so you'd bring $300 the day that you come in for your appointment, and then it is $150 for a touch-up, which depends on when you need it.
And you would like to do at
Depends
least
on
a
you.
consultation before you set up your date.
Yes. So, which I obviously would make you, we'd have a consultation, but if we decide not to do it, obviously you don't owe me a deposit. But it's just to kind of see what you're working with now, what your skin's like, and things like that, and kind of go over what exactly you're looking for. If we agree to do it, drop the $100 deposit, bring $300 when you come in for your service, and then
So how long does that usually take
usually
for people who don't know?
normally, withdrawing them on and actually doing them, I'm trying to think of how long it took me. It really didn't take me as long last time on
They
Marie as I
usually go
thought.
about
2 to 2.5 hours, depending.
from start to finish.
Yeah. So I always tell them 2.5 to 3 hours, just so that, because that's the time that I'm going to block out anyway. So
So yeah.
no need in rushing the whole thing.
But if you've never seen microblading, there's pictures of it on our website, thebeardandlady.com.
Instagram,
Instagram.
about to be Google.
Yeah, I'll post some pictures on Google. I need to update that stuff.
But
If you don't want to get your eyebrows done and you're a dude and you want to get your hair cut, you can come and see her at the Glendale.
Sport Clips, 1000 South Colorado Boulevard, Denver,
That's it.
Colorado 80246.
Dang, that was good.
You know I know that because I order lunch.
But I guess we'll wrap it up. It was a good one. Got
good.
to see what Hannah was all about, and
How our relationship blossomed into
That's
this
it.
beautiful disaster.
but we'll see y'all next Sunday. Another wonderful Step Right Up podcast.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
Laters.
That wasn't too bad.